journey began for me 10 years ago, unknowingly. I studied 3D contemporary crafts at degree level, where you sort of dabbled in a bit of jewellery, a bit of wood and a bit of ceramics, and then for your final year you chose to specialise in a subject. And at this point I'd come across an artist called Grayson Perry, and I was very influenced by his beautiful illustrations on ceramics. And that's when I started experimenting with the same methods. And there was just one of those beautiful moments where an opportunity came up to meet Grayson Perry. There was a competition to make a friend for his beloved teddy bear, Alan Measles, and I ended up making a sad panda, which for me was a piece about loss and anger and grief, because at the time I'd miscarried a baby. And what I didn't realise that I was doing was I was pouring all those emotions into this work. Last year I sort of uncovered that I was suffering with anxiety and low self-worth, and I was using perfectionism as a measure of control. And a lot of this manifested for me as a lack of voice. And in my day-to-day that would affect me in group situations where I wouldn't speak up or speak out about my opinions or views, and I would just go along with things, and it would also hold me back from doing things that I really wanted to do. And just having this awareness now, sort of the penny drop that when I look back at the work that I did at university, and in particular this sad panda, I was using the clay as my voice when I felt like I couldn't speak out. And this has just led to the storytelling element of life, really, for myself. And now I want to use those methods to tell other people's stories who feel like, because a lot of people say to me, oh, you know, there's nothing interesting about me, but then you start digging into each individual and the incredible work comes out that it's about them and their life and their story. So that's actually me, that one. That's me, the bridesmaid, when I was 5. My sister.
Rachel. You'll never get rid of that. You'll never part with that ever. Such an amazing. So is that your mum and dad?
So
who are these?
That's my Aunt Susie. This is my grandma who made the paintings.
Yeah.
And all the grandmas, uncles, aunts.
And who are these?
So this is my ex-husband's mum and dad. This is my grandma and granddad on my dad's side. Again, these are aunts and uncles, great aunts and uncles.
It's an incredible piece. I love it. I love it. These two look really cool.
That's my ex-husband's aunt and uncle, the German, which their name comes from. So they were in the 20s when that was taken.
I love the squeak. We've done well. We've done very well. So what have we here?
So a lot of what's going on for me personally at the moment is, as I work my way through this new ceramics business, my perceptions and awareness are changing of my behaviour. And something that I learnt recently was about a reoccurring dream that I've had for probably about 15 years. So it would be something that would come to me again and again. It was only maybe recently that I actually understood the meaning of what it was. And again, it comes back to the anxiety and this lack of voice. I would be walking through the centre of York very late at night by myself, and somebody would grab me round the throat from behind, and I would go to scream out, but no sound would come out. And at that point I would, wake myself up, so startled about, was it real or not. And yeah, I would have this reoccurring dream, and I knew it was important, but I never knew what it was. And it was only when I gained the understanding about my anxiety and this lack of voice that I felt that I had, that I realised it was my inner mind trying to tell me, this is what's going on for you. You feel like you haven't got a voice. And so this piece came out from that, and it was also influenced by, I went on a cruise with my mother, and we were over in Norway, and we visited the screen paintings. And so it's a mixture of that dream and that painting has created this piece. When I look at it, I feel sad when I look at it.
Yeah. But it's part of your story.
Yeah.
And part of working through that.
Yeah. And the fact that it's taken so long to see it.
Yeah.
But the more you speak about it, the easier it gets, and the more you realise, people are suffering with the same things, and it helps.
Yes.
It's just that I visualise.
That's right.
I visualise what I see in my head.
Yeah. A very, very important piece.
Yeah, this was made probably about 3 months ago, specifically for this exhibition.
And I'm looking forward to seeing it at the exhibition, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of the responses that people have to different pieces, because with art, every individual's response will be different. But to hear the story behind the piece helps that piece come to life for me.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that, because that's hard to articulate, and you've done it so eloquently. Thank you. been to the ooze and you've shown me where your inspiration for the tansy beetle has been coming from, and you've also shown me a magnificent tansy beetle in the boot of your car, and even one outside Thirsk. Some of the virtual walkers that we have love to hear from artists how they get inspired by the landscape or nature, and you've got a particular love of the ooze as it meanders around behind Benningborough. Can you tell us about that?
So York is I feel like it's a very special place to live in. It's a big city, but it has a small community feel to it. And nestled in York are all these beautiful locations where you can go walking. But in particular, you can walk down by the River Ouse or down by the River Foss, and there's a little green beetle down there called a tansy beetle, which is on the endangered species list. You can only find it in York on one other location, and the Tansy Beetle Action Group are actually like a conservation group that are trying to get the numbers back up. But they have a very special story. They're part of York's heritage, which wouldn't normally be discussed. So the idea about creating sculptures that are 6 foot tall or the size of your hands, it just brings the awareness back to people about how special the area is, and that you can walk around in nature and go see these little beetles.
And you certainly have been inspired by them.
Yes,
and you're going to provide inspiration for thousands of others through what you're doing. So what did they look like around here?
The plants or the beetles?
The beetles.
I'll show you. They're about that big.
Yeah.
So this is the last time we were here.
Oh.
Incredible.
They're easier to spot than I thought.
Yeah.
So these were all taken around here?
Yeah. Just literally at the top of there. The trail was last July, so it would have been last July, August.
Very good. Very good.
So how I work is I will sit down with an individual, I will have conversations with them about their memories, their aspirations, their family, all sorts of topics, and from that something in me will sort of ignite, and I'll sort of get inspiration from that, and I will create a piece, and then this is revealed to them sort of in a very surprise element. An example of my work under that situation with this is these vases are based on my grandma's paintings. So she travelled to Singapore with my grandfather because he was an RAF pilot, and she was very inspired by the people there just going about their everyday business, and she began to paint using batiks, which is a wax resist method, but traditionally it's done on fabric, and she did it on paper, and she created all these beautiful paintings. So there's one of them up there actually, and so I've taken her paintings and I've sort of wrapped elements of them around the vases to capture her story.
That's incredible, absolutely incredible. And the detail that you've got.
So these ladies are just doing their washing. These ladies they were just talking. There's another lady with a baby and her mother, but she had a way of seeing the beautiful in the everyday. a bit of a homage to her. It's almost like you're reliving her life, you know, how she would work and how she would paint and how she saw things, and you have the time to sit and reflect on what you're doing while you're doing it.
And why was she in Singapore?
My grandfather was an RAF pilot, and he was based out there. So she went with him.
Stunning. And the print on the wall, was that from your?
Yeah, this is a batik on paper. This is hers. So my intention is to make that as an actual sculpture rather than draw that one.
Yeah.
But they're all. She had 7 children, so my aunts and uncles, and the paintings are sort of scattered all over the UK. I intend to make one for each painting.
You were telling me about an adventure around the village.
Yeah, so one of the things that is really important to me, it's a bit like what you're doing. I don't think people should have to go to an art gallery to see art, and I don't think it should be something that you stand and stare at. So one of the projects that I work on are community events, and I give my ceramics away for free to the community, and so these are done in the form of a hide and seek event. So at Christmas we do robins. The most recent one we did was the miniature ladybirds. The story behind the ladybirds is that historically they're known to be lucky, and if farmers had them on their crops, it was always a sign that they were going to have a good yield because they would eat all the bugs. So we had this little lady luck, and basically what we do is we go out and we hide them around the village, and then the community get to come out and find them for free. And for Easter we'll be hiding Easter eggs.
Oh, lovely.
And it's just really lovely to see the families come out together. You know, they get their kids out, they're searching the village, they're going out in the sunshine or the rain, walking around trying to find all these little objects, and it's a really lovely event for people to come out and enjoy for free.
What a beautiful idea. Fantastic. Yeah. Absolutely fabulous.